Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you have no idea who I am, you've never seen my face, you don't know what I'm about, pretty much to keep a long story short, I like to yap and I love to yap about things I feel like we're not yapping enough about, but we definitely need to be yapping about. So I'm gonna leave some timestamps in the description for those of you who just kind of want to get into the video, but for those of you, my subscribers who have not seen my face in a very long time, to be quite honest, I'm not getting back into videos because this is something I'm excited to do. I miss doing it so much and all that stuff. I wish that were the case, but it is not. Because for those of you that have been following me, you know the things that I talk about, you know the things that I'm interested in talking about, and they can be perceived as controversial. Now, I know that you guys don't see it that way. You guys were so supportive in the comments always, and I love that you guys always added to the conversation. But I'm just not a controversial person. I'd actually rather not deal with it because I never feel the need to validate my feelings to people. I never feel the need to prove myself to people, prove my point to people. I have my beliefs. I believe what I believe, and I don't feel like I need to really convince anyone why it's wrong or right or any of that. And last year when I was recording videos, when I realized the things that were genuinely on my spirit to talk about, and those things that I wanted to talk about, I know what would come along with that as far as like the backlash and what people would have to say and potential libeling and all this type of stuff, and I just rather not deal with it because I don't really care for the validation. I don't need it, and I'm not just gonna come on here and talk about the fluff stuff that everyone else I feel like is talking about, like the pop culture stuff and what's going on in the drama and what's going on with this celebrity, what's going on with this influencer, what's going on with this blah, 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 blah. I really don't care about it. I want to talk about the real shit. I want to talk about the shit y'all are avoiding. I want to talk about the stuff that if you say that, you'll probably get canceled, but it's probably something that needs to be said. I've avoided making these videos for a very long time. I do believe there's a reason, there's like a spiritual pull for me to turn on this camera, even though, again, I genuinely do not want to. I am going to follow that guide. So we're going to talk. We're going to have real conversations on here, and I want to preface this by saying for future videos on this channel, my intention is never to offend anybody, but I'm also not going to lie, and I'm also not going to bullshit. Because there's a lot of bullshit going on, and that's the problem. Everybody's in la la land. Everybody's delusional. Nobody wants to talk because they don't want to be labeled this. Everyone's scared to be perceived as this. Me personally, I don't care. Maybe a year ago I did, hence why I didn't record the videos, but certain things are just getting out of hand. No one's saying anything, and it's just time to have real conversations again. It's time to have hard conversations again. It's time to have conversations that actually balance the pendulum again. There's a lot going on everywhere in society, in our culture, and this is episode 1. And so the first thing we're going to talk about is pop culture. For those of you who don't know, which I'm sure you know, because even if you don't follow him, even if you don't support him, you know who this man is. And he's been getting canceled, I'm pretty sure, since he's been on the social media scene. And regardless of how many times he gets quote unquote canceled, he actually gets richer and richer. He gets more famous, he gets more notoriety, and he has been accused of allegedly doing a lot of questionable, weird things. If you know, you know. I don't really want to get into it, deep dive it, go down the rabbit hole on TikTok if you need. So his latest scandal, as you guys know, Spirit Airlines was just shut down, and obviously they had to fire a whole bunch of people.
We are coming to you live with a breaking news update right now. Spirit Airlines says it is shutting down operations effective immediately after talks with the Trump administration over a federal bailout ended with no deal. In a statement issued this morning, the company said in part, quote, "To our guests, all Spirit flights have been canceled and customer service no longer available. We are proud of the impact of our ultra low cost model on the industry over the last 34 years. Now, the airline had been hit extra hard recently with the surging jet fuel costs from the Iran war and the closure of the Strait of Hormuz, adding $15 million more a week to its expenses."
So this young lady decided to DM James Charles and pretty much ask him to make a donation to her GoFundMe because obviously she just got fired and he has a lot of money, he's a celebrity, and she just wants help. James Charles takes it upon himself to do this whole rant, and it rubbed everyone on the internet the wrong way. Take a look.
I just got a DM on here from a girl that said, "Good morning, James. I know you'll probably never see this, but if you could just take 1 minute to read it, would really mean a lot to me. I'm really struggling right now because Spirit Airlines just filed for bankruptcy and I have lost my job. Here's a GoFundMe link. Any donations help. I'm sure they do, sweetheart. I'm sure they do. You know what else would help you? Getting another job. Yeah, try that. Because in the time that it took you to copy and paste the same fuck-ass message to myself, who you don't follow, by the way, and probably 100 other influencers and celebrities, you could have applied for 100 other jobs, but you didn't because you're a lazy piece of shit and you're entitled. And you think that influencers and celebrities should fund your life for you. Why would I ever help you? You're not a fan. You don't even follow me. You've never supported me. This is your first time DMing. And you think that I'm going to send you money because you lost your job? Oh my God, welcome to the real world, sweetheart. People lose their jobs every fucking day, and you're white, pretty, and able-bodied. You're in a much better position than a lot of other people out here who are trying clearly much harder to make a better life for themselves. Why would I fucking help you? Aside from that, 17,000 people lost their jobs at Spirit Airlines. Why do you think you need the GoFundMe? I can at least 1% respect the mentality of closed mouths don't get fed, doesn't hurt to try. But honestly, it does hurt to try because now you pissed me off. Okay, I'm not the one. Go find fucking Mr. Reese. This is literally his entire shtick. I'm sure the next YouTube video is literally going to be like, I rehired all 17,000 of the Spirit Airlines employees, and it's going to be the real life Hunger Games. The last one of them to leave the Spirit Airlines plane gets to be the CEO of the new company and gets a house and a car and $10 million that everybody else dies. Go find that video to compete in, baby. I'm not helping you. I'm not fucking helping you. All you did was lost your job, okay? Welcome to the real world. I can at least understand if you were like, James, I'm a longtime fan. Here's a trillion years of DMs and my support for you. I love you. I'm suffering with a really rare genetic disease that there is no cure for, and I'm trying to raise money for myself and other people that have this. Maybe I would help. Maybe I would help because I love you and I appreciate you. This bitch, you lost your fucking job? What are we gonna do?
Yeah. Now, at first glance, it's very easy to say oh, how out of touch is he? How dare he? She just lost her job. The job market is hard and all these different things. And that's exactly the reaction that people were giving for the first few days. But then a few days later, James Charles came out with I don't know if it was an apology, but it was more of an explanation for the first video.
So I ended up deleting the video that I posted yesterday talking about people who send me GoFundMe links that have never followed, supported, DM me before, just begging for money. And most people were enjoying the video, saying it was a valid point, but it definitely started causing some discourse in the comments. And a lot of people were just saying it was out of touch and insensitive. And they're right. It was definitely a harsh choice of words, maybe not my best video. And I deleted it, but of course the internet is forever. And now a lot of content creators are using the 5-second clip in the very beginning where I'm like, you're a lazy piece of shit, get a new job, to upload their cute little think pieces being influencers are all so out of touch. This is so disgusting. You don't know how hard it is in the job market these days. Oh my God, give me a fucking break. I am out of touch, first and foremost, okay? I am never going to be one of those influencers that gets online and pretends to be poor so I can come across as relatable to my audience. I think it's tacky, I think it's annoying, and I also think it's quite insulting to the audience watching, as if you guys are going to be fooled into thinking that. You've been watching me for 10 years now. It's no secret that I have been able to find success doing what I've done. It didn't start that way, though. I started from literally nothing and had a dream for myself and was determined to literally do anything to make it happen, and luckily, I've been blessed to be able to do that and now call this my full-time job. The reason I made that video yesterday, though, was a lot of people these days do not have the make it work mentality. They have no desire to actually put in the effort to try to fix a problem and get themselves out of a situation. They immediately result in asking for help. And don't get me wrong, I don't think there's anything wrong with asking for help. In my personal opinion, though, it should be a last resort. If you disagree, that's totally fine. That's your personal opinion. I'm not going to apologize for having mine.
All right, here's my opinion. Anytime you guys decide to cancel someone, I check out every single time because it's just fake. It's not real. If you guys are canceling James Charles because he was insensitive to, an average person who has to work a 9 to 5 and who can't just pick up a makeup palette and get money and, who isn't living the James Charles life, it's very easy to look at it from that perspective. And that's, I think, where everyone was looking at it from at first. But when I watched the second video, James Charles had a point. No, he did, and let's talk about it. The thing is, first of all, This is not abnormal. And you don't even need to have the following or the influence that James Charles has to get people reaching out to you to donate this. Like when you hit like maybe 50K and up followers on Instagram or any social media platform, people they see you in a position of influence that you have more, you can give, so they just assume you have it to give. Now, the reality is no one's ever obligated to give anybody their money. It doesn't matter if that person is rich. It doesn't matter if that person is kind of rich. Nobody is obligated to give anybody the money that they worked for. Now, people were saying like, oh, how dare you? All you have to do is get on the internet and put on makeup and do all these things. But you guys made him famous. That's like his whole thing. That's what he's been doing from the very beginning. And he does a very good job at it. I'm not going to play the game of like, influencing isn't a real job. If people had the skills and talent it takes to successfully do what James Charles is doing, they 1,000% would. Do not let these people on the internet make you feel like if they couldn't just pick up a makeup palette and do their makeup and make 10K a week minimum, I'm sure he makes more than that, they wouldn't. If you just lost your job less than like 48 hours ago, I don't know how long she lost her job, between the timeline she DM'd James and how long she lost the job, but you have people that have been unemployed for almost a year, have been looking for jobs for a very, very, very long time. You have people with master's degrees that are unemployed. So even though it came off very wrong and very out of touch, James Charles did have a point. What makes you better than everybody else for me to just give you money? And he said like she didn't even follow me, like you're not even a supporter, which I feel like that was kind of out of touch because it shouldn't matter. But also it's just like, if you're gonna ask me for money, it's like the least you could do is like, are you like a fan? Are you like a supporter? Have you bought anything? I know it's not good. I know it shouldn't matter, but again, that's James Charles' money. He shouldn't have to do anything with his money. And if we're being extra honest, I don't even think it's like a rich thing. You don't have to be rich to feel like people aren't just deserving of your money simply because you have it. Nobody likes to just give away money. Whether you're in the lower class and you're just lending someone $50, that's annoying. It doesn't matter if someone's wealthy or broke. No one's obligated to just give out their money. And it's all based on perception. If you're asking me to lend you money and I perceive you to be someone that's undeserving of the money you're asking me for, I don't have to give it to you. And it doesn't make me a bad person. It's just my money. And I don't want to get into. Now, because of all this, people have been on a mass James Charles unfollowing spree. But here's my thing. If the allegations that James Charles had to deal with a few years ago, I don't know if you guys remember, if you're on that side of the internet, but I feel like you would know because I'm not even into James Charles. Like, I'm not even into makeup for real. And even if I was, James Charles wouldn't be the influencer I go. I'm black. I don't really know what I would be doing watching a James Charles video. Maybe a Jeffree Star review, but I don't know about James Charles. Yeah. But the reason I just feel like it's so silly and it's so pointless to try to cancel James Charles and go on this mass unfollowing sprees because James Charles is not the only one that has this mindset within the industry, within his tax bracket. He was probably the one that was most out of touch to go on the internet freshly after the whole Spirit Airlines incident happened to vocalize his opinion about it. There's a lot of these people who do feel like they're better than people. But my thing is, if you're wealthy and you're not living the average life, you don't have to be in touch. It's not just a James Charles thing. And like I said, if the allegations that James Charles allegedly was dealing with minors was not enough for 40 million people to continue to support him, what is this gonna do? It's all just so silly. It's all just a waste of time. I feel like if James Charles just keeps it cute, doesn't really say too much, you guys will be back supporting him. The allegations made before were way worse than this one, and his success skyrockets every time he gets canceled. So there's that on James Charles. Next up, Drake and Chris Brown's album. Why are we dropping 3 albums? What's that? What is that? Why are we doing that? And I feel like some of these artists, some of these celebrities, I don't know, they try to push the envelope to see how far and how cult-like y'all really are. You know what I mean? It's kind of like when Balenciaga like drops like random pieces and we're all like, okay, that is so bizarre. Like, is this a social experiment? Like, why are y'all dropping products that just look kind of insane? I kind of feel like some of these celebrities do that because if you're dropping 3 albums, it's giving there's a gun to my head and I have to, Chris Brown dropped 1 album, 27 songs. I haven't gotten fully through any of them. I probably won't. Why are y'all, please. please, and it's not even like the quality of the music is getting better. So it's not like you feel compelled to go listen to, they're just, please, man, please. I'm not, what I will say is there's been some pretty good songs, I think, from the Drake album I've been hearing. I'm just gonna take the internet's word for it as far as which songs sound good. I'm not sitting down listening to 3 albums from anybody at one time, actually. And I don't think we've had a song of the summer yet from either of them. Now for Chris Brown's album, I think I got almost halfway through it. I don't think it was bad. I think it's very Chris Brown. It's what he does. I like the first couple tracks. I love Obvious. That one's in the playlist. But I don't know. I wasn't really that impressed by, like, they did what they did. Like, I feel like they didn't do anything different. I don't feel like they did anything crazy out of the ordinary than what they usually drop with how they usually rap. Like, they kind of gave us what they always gave us. But if you guys did listen to the albums, let me know which tracks you like. Let me know which ones I need to listen to if I do. But yeah, I'm not sitting down. And I know obviously I don't have to listen to it in one sitting. But no. No. Okay, last in pop culture. This one's not really that new, but this one started some conversations on the internet. EJ Johnson. So if you have no idea about the recent video that went viral of EJ Johnson, before we get into it, take a look.
I don't attract gay men, and I'm not attracted to gay men. Like, it's just not a thing.
Tell me more about that.
Honestly, it's like, that's why I don't go to gay clubs. I don't go to, gay things, because it's like the men that I attract are not there. It's like, these are not my men in terms of attraction. Now, if I'm just going to have a kiki, sure. But like, these are not the men that are interested in me in that capacity. I do that when I go to the straight rooms.
So, it comes to men, has it always been what some people consider the straight guy always being the one that would approach you?
Or somebody who, has been intimate and dating, women for most of their life, or like up until then, for sure. Now it's like even more so, now that I definitely present in more of a feminine way, because also like, it's like my energy is that. Like, even when I was a kid and like they were like, well, you can't wear skirts, and I was like, well, why not? It's like my inner being was like, there's nothing wrong with this, especially if I look cuter than any girl does. Like, what's the problem? I'm out all the time, and like, I'm killing a dress and no one else is. Like, the girls in the room are not doing it. Like, they don't look cute. They're not dressed to any nines. So
I have nothing nice to say, by the way. So if you're sensitive, go ahead and just skip to the next segment, because I have nothing nice to say. I am going to be as articulate about it. I'm not going to get too crazy, but yeah, that's insane. Yeah, that's insane. Okay, so here's my thing. As women, right, we're just supposed to be okay with all of this. We're supposed to be supportive, and we're supposed to be standing behind all this, because I think there's a general kind of understanding, like the girls and the gays, they get along, right? So when you are a woman, it's very controversial for you to have any critiques of the community, right? But when a 6'2" Cybertruck like EJ Johnson gets on the internet and then says he is not attracted to gay men, and he goes into straight rooms because he looks better than the women in those rooms, and he dresses better and he looks better in a dress than the women, we're just supposed to be like, oh yeah, yes girl, go ahead. No, that's insane. And we have gotten to this level of delusion that is not okay. Okay? You don't just get to talk about womanhood and women any kind of way. You don't just get to make any type of implications about women just because you're gay and we're supposed to be allies. That's weird. And just to clarify, if you are going into what you're saying are straight rooms, which I don't even know necessarily what that means, because how do you know that everyone in that room is straight? I don't know if you're just like assuming that because of the type of places. I don't know where you go, but I also don't know how you can go into a room and just assume that all the men in the room are just all heterosexual, all straight. But if a man is attracted to another man, babe, in any way, I'm gonna hold your very large hands when I say this. They are probably not straight. Women are not competing with men for straight men. This is not a thing. And this narrative that's going around like, oh, the gays are competing with the girls, then, you know, we're taking y'all men and all this stuff. Cut the bullshit. If a man is attracted to you, he was never straight. Now, here's the thing, and this is what I know is gonna get me in trouble, but it is the truth. And I'm not talking about the gay men and the gay women that are just attracted to other gay men and gay women. That's fairly normal. Obviously, if you are attracted to a man, you would want to be with another man that's attracted to men. That is what is normal. And for a very long time, that's what was going on. Everybody was minding their business. The gays were doing what the gays did. The straights were doing what the straights did. We were all living pretty cohesively. No one really cared about anything. Now, where it starts to actually get weird and where things kind of go downhill is when things that are supposed to stay within that community, they are now being taken out of that community and kind of thrown onto the straights, and straight people are just expected to kind of deal with it and be okay with it, because if we don't support it, then we're homophobic, then we're transphobic. But I don't think that's the case. That EJ said, it's a very real thing, okay? There are a demographic of gay men that their main type and their preference are men that are either straight passing or straight in general, living a heterosexual life, meaning they probably have wives, they probably have kids, they probably have girlfriends. There's something about that makes them attracted to the man more, which, if, again, your sexuality is as a man, you're attracted to other men, there are men out there that are only attracted to other men who are also masculine passing, okay? There are gay men out there that are very masculine, very normal. There's normal gay men out there. Like the stuff that goes viral and the stuff that we always see on the internet when it comes to like the super feminine gay men and the controversial stuff that they say, that's not a representation of the entire gay community. Matter of fact, there's so much content on the internet of people a part of the community like, yeah, we don't necessarily like agree with all that stuff going on. We don't necessarily like want to be attached with. There are a lot of people within that community who feel abandoned by the community because y'all are just making things weird.
LGBTQ people attacking other LGBTQ people is probably coming out of feeling bullied, othered, traumatized, not wanting to upset dad.
Or maybe members of the LGBT community are fed up with the poor representation. You know, Jeffrey, like adults grooming children, inviting them to chat privately without the parents present. Does that sound familiar? Or all of these extreme leftist ideologies that you love to advocate for on your page, and for some reason the community loves to force and push onto everybody else, might play a part and be a part of the reason why LGBTQ support is on the decline. Respectability politics. I know how you guys love to throw that one around. It's not about respectability politics. It's about being a respectable human being, right? Act like you got some fucking couth about you.
Not wanting other people like us to confuse the straights. And
who's going to tell him that you do not have to be straight to be confused by a lot of the nonsense happening within the community? Bitch, I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone half the time.
I have nothing to do with the LGBT community, and I don't want anything to do with it. Being gay is a sexuality. Being trans is a sexual identity, okay? Those are different than political ideologies. And if you think that your political ideology, what you think of how the world should be organized, how society should be organized, if you think that that is deeply connected to your sexuality or your skin color, you look at your hand and go, oh my God, I must think this about taxes and foreign policy, you are really confused about things. Rainbow flag that for a long time just stood for equality, and that was it. This new thing with the triangle and the trans thing, again, it is actively not only attacking the gays because they're trying to transition young gays. They're trying to tell young girls that they're actually boys and young boys that they're actually girls. So it's rabidly anti-gay, but it's also rabidly anti-straight.
No shade, but the new gays is annoying as shit. It's like everything got to be extra loud or overly dramatic. When me and my gays was coming up, and the gays before us and the gays before them, we had fun. And we also had a balance. Y'all are disrespectful as shit. Like, we knew how to chill, laugh, and vibe without forcing it. We could hang around straight men. We could be on the block. Y'all just do too motherfucking much.
Right? But back to what I was saying, there are a demographic of gay men that strictly, mainly only like men that are either living straight lives or they are perceived as straight. And I think that's a problem. I think it's weird. I think it's odd. And I think it is a little bit predatory. And the reason I feel like it is a little bit predatory is because I feel like there are a demographic of gay men who hate women, okay? Who are delusional enough to see themselves kind of like equals to women, who like to do things and act like they're equal to women, or they like to participate in things that make them feel like they're equal to women, or it validates whatever feelings that they have that, oh, they're one of the girls, or they can compete with women for men and all that type of stuff. Because why is it that a man with children, a wife, why is that what you are attracted to instead of just another gay man who's masculine passing, who you'd probably also be attracted to, but he's a gay man? Why is it that we're going after the men that are with women? There's something about that that no one wants to talk about, no one wants to say it, but I will, because you can't cancel me. You are not my God. I don't fear y'all. I don't care about none of y'all. And women have let this shit slide for so long because, again, women and gays have been allies for the longest time, and that's kind of like the expectation. And again, I'm not talking about all the gays. Nobody is a monolith. I'm specifically talking about those people like E.J. Johnson that feel like they can speak about women a certain way, who feel like they can equate themselves to women. And I say this all the time, and I mean it. Nobody hates women like other women and immediately gay men. Not all. But the reason I'm saying what I'm about to say, knowing what might come from it, is because as women, we kind of have to stand up. We have to start taking an accountability for the stuff that's going on within our society that we're letting shit slide. Because I know for a fact the girls that do have like gay homeboys and, you know, gay friends that they're cool with, I'm sure you've heard at least one. And I'm just being generous. You've heard at least one story of how he took that girl's man, or he DM'd that man who got a girl, and you know he got a girlfriend, but he want to see me tonight, and it's kiki and it's a ka because it's not chill. So it's okay. That's why I said immediately. That's why I said it's immediately after women. Women hate other women. Okay. Nobody hates women like other women. Don't let this fake, I'm a girl's girl. Oh my God, I love the girls. It's fake. And matter of fact, any girl that tells you she's a girl's girl, that bitch is gonna show you why she's not in about 30 seconds. And people like E.J. Johnson, they do no good for the community, because all this does is piss people off. Because he does not represent the entire community. Like I said, there are just literal normal gay people that just live their lives. They just wanna be with their partners and live and be okay. It's the E.J. Johnsons that get on the internet and say things like this, say offensive things like this. And mind you, you are talking down on the very women that you are trying and attempting very hard to emulate. Not doing very well. It's very silly to try to talk down on the blueprint. Okay? That's my take on the E.J. Johnson thing. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys thought when you saw that video. Let's get into politics. And I'm gonna try to be very mindful when I talk about this. But, hold on. Okay, so September 10th, 2025, shit got weird, and it got weird. Click.
Fox News alert and welcome to the 5. President Trump just announcing that Charly Kerk has died after being shot at an event in Utah for his Turning Point USA organization. The president said, "The great and even legendary Charly Kerk is dead. No one understood or had the heart of the youth in the United States of America better than Charly. He was loved and admired by all, especially me, and now he is no longer with us. Melania and my sympathies go out to his beautiful wife, Erica, and family. Charly, we love you.
So here's why I said in the beginning that this assassination is so much bigger than people understand. It's not about politics. Like I said, you had the liberals who were either indifferent, celebratory, or just completely unkind and a bit cruel about the whole thing and sensitive. And then on the right side, of course, you had remorse, you had sadness, you had confusion, you had all these different things. And the way that that case went down, I'm trying not to do too much, y'all. I have been so deep in this rabbit hole since the whole thing happened, but just the way that that investigation went about, there was something in the investigation, a little something for everyone to kind of grab on. So if you're on the right, you know, he had a gay lover and he was completely anti-Trump. And then on the left, you had his parents were MAGA and he was just a radical lefty and blah, 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 blah. So there was a little bit of something for everyone to be upset about. It was perfectly curated. I won't get too deep into it, but the reason I think everybody needs to be paying attention to this, and it's not based on your political views. It's so much bigger than that. Charly Kerk was a white male, Christian, conservative, Republican, wealthy, influential, white American man. He checked every single box for what is deemed as the protected class in this country. Every single box. If you were to describe what the people say the patriarchy is, it would look like Charly Kerk. So what would warrant this death? How is it that a 20-something-year-old gay dude who's never done any other crime, never done anything crazy, how was he able to make this perfect shot from the distance he was, from this very prominent, very influential, very secured person?
You have to swallow so much stuff to believe the story that the establishment is pushing for Charly Kerk's assassination. So this guy finds the open stairwell. He brings the gun up, but it's too big, so he has to take it apart and put it in his backpack. Still too big for his backpack, so he has to put it down his pant legs. But then if he did, he couldn't go up the steps because he couldn't bend his knees. So I don't know how he got it up there. Nobody will tell me. So he gets up there, and then he changes his clothes.
Changes clothing on the roof, and then changes back into that clothing at some point.
He's up on top of that roof for 10 minutes. Nobody sees him. The cops don't see him. The $1 million security team doesn't see him. Nobody sees him except people in the crowd did see him.
Oh, there's somebody on the roof right there?
So he puts the gun together, takes the shot, hits it perfect, takes the gun apart, leaves the screwdriver there.
A screwdriver that was found on the rooftop.
Puts it under a towel, Spider-Man's his way off the top of a building, runs across campus with the gun apparently under a towel. Nobody sees this. He runs into the woods, puts the gun back together again without the screwdriver. He's a regular MacGyver, this guy. And then he hides the gun in the backyard of a house owned by Palantir. And if you think anything else besides that, you're a crazy Jew-hating conspiracy nut.
There were, for whatever reason, 12 Israeli cell phones on the ground at Utah Valley University the day that Charly Kerk was assassinated. This has completely spooked the people that are very high up in government. Now, to be clear, I don't mean that there were 12 VPNs that were switched and routed through Israel on that day. I mean that there were 12 personal cell phone accounts that were opened in Israel, okay? Like you go into Verizon in Tennessee or in Connecticut and you open your phone. I am saying that they opened their phones in Israel, those accounts in Israel, and they were on the ground on September 10th at Utah Valley University when Charly was shot.
Here's how you know the government is lying to us about what happened to Charly. I went back and watched all of the news from September 10th. Let me tell you what I found. The timeline. The timeline is off. You know how I know it? After Charly was assassinated, and they said Tyler ran off the building into the woods and put his gun back together and left it there on a towel. The FBI stated later that evening that the rifle that they found, this .30-06 rifle, was in fact the weapon that was used to assassinate Charly Kerk. So the question is, how did they know that was the weapon that was used by Tyler? No ballistics had been done on the gun yet. No ballistics had been done on anything yet. No autopsy had been done yet, if there has one been done at all. Basically, all they did was they found a firearm in the woods and said this was the weapon that was used. That is freaking impossible. It's impossible. That's no different than when I was a cop. If we had a shooting on a Friday night and I was working on Sunday afternoon and somebody calls and says, hey, I found this gun on the side of the road, and I pick it up and go, oh my gosh, this was the gun that was used Friday night. There is no way to know that. It takes days or weeks for them to get this weapon and fire it and do ballistics on it.
The point I'm getting at, without getting into it way too deep, because if Charly Kerk can get taken out for saying anything questioning or anything even remotely against that specific group, our besties, then if you are any other person, if you are non-white, like if you're Black or Hispanic, or if you are a woman, or if you are an immigrant, or you're definitely, okay? But if Charly Kerk wasn't even allowed, Charly Kerk, who had a very big role in getting this president elected and, you know, getting people on board for this whole thing, okay? If he can't even have like a different opinion. And here's the thing, Charly Kerk was influential. Whatever Charly Kerk said to do, not to do, there was a very loyal following of young people behind him that would 100% be right behind. Charly Kerk was pretty consistent with the things that he believed. Obviously, you can find his videos on the internet if you want to know what he thought about XYZ, blah, 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 blah. There's at least 10 videos per topic, at least. There was one specific issue that it was given the vibe that he was changing his views on. It was given the vibe that he was changing his opinion on. And it's very ironic that since he was kind of changing his opinion on that, well, now he's no longer with us.
But it goes to the point where if, for example, if I have less ability sometimes online to criticize the Israeli government without backlash than actual Israelis do. It's
been so unfair. They were coming after you after Turning Point for, among other things, that you had Dave Smith there. Dave Smith is allowed to criticize Israel. You had both sides. The Israeli side was overrepresented.
Though. No, you're not allowed to. It's even worse than that. Like, I host a person that I moderate the debate of, mind you, right? And I give equal time to Josh Hammer, equal time to a pro-Israel advocate. And my moral character is being put into question. And so I think it's a hyper paranoid, like we're just going to try to, we're going to just stamp out everything type of practice.
It's like there's some rule you can't go there when it comes to Israel.
Well, you and I believe that we're Americans and Americans first, period. End of story. We are citizens of this nation, okay?
That's right.
Israel, we have funded, we have supported. Not like we're going to, but we're like, honestly, the way you are treating me is so repulsive. I have text messages, Megan, calling me an anti-Semite. But my moral character is now being put into question, Megan. Not my decisions. Not like, hey, are you doing this? Is it smart or is it dumb? But no, I am a bad person if I do this. And I could go, I mean, you saw it, Megan. It was trending on Twitter, thousands of tweets and text messages.
It's offensive to those of us who have been out there defending them in many instances against critics on our own side. And now you have a couple of comments like, well, what about this? Well, has it gone on too long?
So where things kind of went left for Charly, unfortunately, was he was changing his perspective on Israel. And you are not supposed to do that. That is a no-no. That is always a no-no. Now, there's been many speculations and there's been many think pieces and quote unquote conspiracy theories, because a lot of these conspiracy theories, they're not conspiracies, but you know. So here's the thing. If Charly Kerk, who checks all those boxes, can get eliminated because he was questioning or potentially changing his viewpoints on Israel, the state of Israel. Because mind you, Charly was pro-Israel, like most people on the right are. But Charly was not for the war that Israel wanted with Iran. He was vocal about it. And Charly Kerk would host different events, not only like where he would go to college campuses and debate students, but he would also have like his own Turning Point USA events where students from all over the country would come and stuff like that. He was inviting the commentators and the influencers and the speakers and the people who were boldly and loudly against the state of Israel and what they're doing and what they want to do as far as like a war. And that rubbed the wrong people the wrong way. This is all alleged. This is all alleged. Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson both have been so vocal about where they stand as far as them not supporting the state of Israel and all that they're doing, and just kind of the grip that that state has had on America. They've been very vocal about it, right?
All American presidents since 1963 have done substantially what Israel wanted us to do. And now it's really hurting us. And I've been aware of this for decades, and I haven't said one word about it because it's not worth the fight. But now I see our country, its economy, its understanding of itself in the process of being destroyed because our leaders, and not just our president, our entire Congress, many of our governors, did the bidding of a foreign power. And so the problem is not simply Trump. The problem is the mechanism of control that allows a country of 9 million to control a country of 350 million. What is that mechanism? I'm not sure I know the answer. We need to find out what that is.
What is your view of Jewish people, of Judaism?
Yeah.
The record, what's your view?
My view is that, Judaism is a faith. Israel is a state, and it is not above critique. And that what Bibi Netanyahu has done to the Palestinians since October 7th is a Holocaust. It is a Holocaust that is being committed on Palestinian children and women. And I'm not going to quiet my perspective on that, to kowtow to whatever the prevailing narrative is at the New York Post.
If Charly Kerk, who's always been this pro-Israel speaker, this powerhouse, this influential guy, all of a sudden is changing his viewpoints on something very important to the donors that were putting money into his company, because it was a nonprofit, so he had a bunch of different donors who were Zionists, who were pro-Israel. Now you could see where that would be a problem. Now, if you do go down the rabbit hole, you'll see Charlie was getting threats. Charlie was getting implications that he's doing the wrong thing. People were like getting on him not to invite Tucker, not to invite Candace. If you do this, like it's deep, y'all. So now Charlie is no longer with us. And that is the one thing, the only thing that since Charlie has been doing his tours and his debates that he's changed a little bit on, and he's not here with us anymore. So I guess my question now is, what if it was a Black person, a Hispanic person, a Chinese person, or whatever the color? What if someone who wasn't that quote unquote poster boy were to say something, or were to question something about Israel, or were to give an opinion that wasn't the popular, opinion? What would happen if they did that to Charlie publicly in front of the world so everybody could see? I kind of feel like we all need to be a little bit worried about that freedom of speech thing. Yeah. This is 1,000% a freedom of speech thing. Why? Because that's all Charly Kerk did. Charly Kerk's entire job was going up on stages and talking and going on college campuses and debating kids. If his speech is the reason he's no longer here with us, I think we all need to be a little bit worried. Speech is never, and like you can feel, somebody can say something to you and you can feel how you want to feel about it. But at the end of the day, as Americans, we all have a right to say whatever the hell we want to say, regardless of who's heard about it. Yes, there are consequences to the things that you say, but at the end of the day, as far as you saying it, you have the right to say whatever you want to say. So if Charly Kerk was questioning and changing his ideas and his thoughts about the state of Israel and the war that they wanted so bad, which they did get, it's kind of coincidental. And like I said, regardless of how something makes you feel, you're allowed to say what you want to say, whether that's racist, whether that's homophobic, whether that's transphobic, whether that's anti-Semitic. You have the right to say whatever you want to say. Like I said, are there consequences to things? And the things that you say, absolutely. As there should be. And why is it that it's this one specific topic that's so touchy? Like no one can critique the state of Israel. No one can ask any questions. Nobody can do anything. And yeah, it gets deep. I don't want to get too deep. I'm trying to be very careful. I'm not trying to go too deep into the rabbit hole. I feel like this could be like its own video. But that also leads me into Candace Owens versus Turning Point USA. Matter of fact, Candace Owens versus the entire like pro-Trump apparatus. So for those of you who aren't like into politics like that, or you don't know what's going on the right is completely split down in the middle. okay? You have the conservatives who are completely America first, like we prioritize our country. We don't want to tap into anyone else's thing until we get ourselves together. We want to focus on our country, our people, instead of like giving out money to everyone and da-da-da-da. So you have the people who are strictly conservatives who are America first. We don't want to help Israel. We don't want to fund their wars. We don't want to keep doing this. That's where that is. And then on the other side, you have the conservative Christian Zionists who are adamant always about supporting Israel, and Israel will always support them. They're our greatest ally. And they try to connotate it with like a biblical obligation, even though state of Israel and the Israel in the Bible is not the same, but it's completely split down the middle. And Candace Owens is putting belt to ass. I don't know how else to say it.
I'm going to challenge Turning Point USA executives to issue a very clean statement saying that I am lying if this is not true. About 48 hours before Charly Kerk died, Charly informed people at Turning Point, as well as Jewish donors and a rabbi, that he had no choice but to abandon the pro-Israel cause outright, okay? Charly was done. He said it explicitly, that he refused to be bullied anymore by the Jewish donors. Can you guys answer? Did he express that? Did he also express that he wanted to bring me, Candace Owens, back because he was standing up for himself? And then did he, just 48 hours later, conveniently catch a bullet to the throat before our onstage reunion could happen? It's a yes or a no. Explicitly, I want to hear from Turning Point USA that I'm lying about that. I want you to say, no, it was just, he was feeling a little bit of pressure. No, I want you to literally answer what I have just said. It either happened or it didn't. I'm either making it all up or it happened exactly as I'm saying. Yeah, I'm putting the fire here right at the feet of Turning Point because I am disgusted. I am genuinely disgusted. I am looking around and wondering whether Charly's entire life was the Truman Show. None of you guys are behaving in the way that you should be behaving, okay? There is no way you are letting these lies fly unless, as I am hearing, unless it is true that there was a big payday that was on the line. And if Charly radically stated that he was done with Israel, if Charly said he had no choice but to abandon the pro-Israel cause because of, and I quote, Jewish donors, the behavior of Jewish donors, if he said that, yes or no, well then, I don't know, maybe some people didn't want to take that risk that he was going to become Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson at Turning Point USA with so much presence across college campuses. Maybe they didn't want to take the chance. You see, I'm just one person, so it's easy to just try to cancel my life and lie on me every second of every day. But Turning Point USA, I think, got a little bit bigger than Charly, and I'm no longer going to allow this lie in this narrative. So answer the questions, yes or no.
And also, all these suing, like Candace Owens is being sued for this, Candace Owens is being sued for this. I want y'all to know that is a perception PR stunt, right? So what's happening is, for example, if I were to say, Becky got in trouble because she stole a blue pen, right? Let's say Becky's gonna sue me for quote unquote defamation because I spelled her name wrong. So instead of saying B-E-C-K-Y, I said B-E-C-K-I. Like she's not suing me on the basis of me saying she's stealing, which is the bulk of what I'm saying, the bulk of the argument. It's a perception thing. So as long as the public thinks she's getting sued because what she's doing is wrong and she's just doing all these crazy things, and Candace Owens has yet to be sued for the claims that she's actually saying. Like they'll sue her for like petty things, like saying the wrong date accidentally or making an incorrect statement, but it's never like the bulk of what she's saying, which I think is so interesting. And she has been on the necks of Turning Point USA. I don't see them recovering. They can't. No, but they can't. And people were like against Candace Owens in the beginning, as far as like her questioning Erica Kirk in the beginning, trying to imply that she was like a part of, Charly's elimination. But what people need to understand is Erica decided to become the CEO of a major company. When you are a CEO of a company, you are obligated to answer certain questions. You are obligated to be a certain way, show up a certain way. So you have to separate. I'm talking to Erica Kirk, who has implemented herself as the CEO, not Erica Kirk, the widow. But what the media was trying to make it seem is like, okay, no one can criticize Erica, like she's grieving and everyone grieves different, but she's also the CEO. So what they were trying to do is like, oh, don't question Erica because she's grieving, like be okay. So that makes us feel like we can't ask questions that's like weird about what's going on at Turning Point USA because Erica's grieving, but she's also the CEO. So we do have questions. And I think what was like an interesting, I'm like talking to y'all like y'all my homegirls, it's crazy. And I think the thing that's so interesting is the other day, Trump had made like a Truth Social post where he attacked Candace, Tucker, and Megyn Kelly, which, mind you, these are three media powerhouses. Like all three of these people, Megyn, Candace, and Tucker, they all have massive platforms individually on their own. And Charly, listen, if Charly was here, Charly would have been in that mix, I promise you. But anyways, that's my opinion, and I'm entitled to my opinion. But all those people that Trump was like attacking and said like, oh, they're low IQ, blah, blah, blah. Those are three people who definitely contributed majorly to Trump even being in office. These are people that were like gung-ho, pro-Trump, pro-MAGA. Like if you go down the rabbit hole, these people that Trump was like calling out and like talking bad about and talking down on, these are three people that actively got him into office. But where Candace Owens messed up, well, she's not for all this pro-Israel, America fighting their wars thing. Neither is Tucker, and they're both vocal about it. Where Megyn Kelly messed up was she did not want to denounce Candace and Tucker, because that's what you have to do. You have to specifically say, I am against these people. I don't stand for this. And I think it was an interview she was having with Ben Shapiro where he was just like, oh, do you denounce Candace? That's where she went wrong. So Megyn Kelly is not in the group where she is not pro-Israel because she is. Megyn Kelly is pro-Israel. Where Megyn Kelly messed up was she did not vocally and specifically denounce Candace and Tucker. So this interview that she had with Ben Shapiro, he specifically was like, okay, well, do you denounce her?
I was called a coward by Ben Shapiro.
Megyn said, quote, my goal and my job here is to try to understand where Candace is coming from on this. That is a moral and logical absurdity.
The last text I have from Ben Shapiro said, our friendship is too important to both of us to make it depend on whom else we are friends with. The next thing I knew, he was standing on the stage at Turning Point calling me a coward for this very thing. So I am convinced now more than ever that there is a crew for whom everything revolves around Israel. The only thing that matters is whether you are standing up for Israel or not. You also must defriend anyone who is raising questions about Israel. I'd rather die than do that because I'm not raising the fist and saying BLM at the table, and I'm not bending the knee to these bullies who think they can control me.
Pretty much like, say it. No, you need to say it. Like that was kind of the vibe. And she was just like, I'm not gonna do that. Like, did Candace Owens say this lady killed her? Like, she was just kind of like, why would I denounce her when, like, no, like, I'm not gonna do that. She didn't say those things that, you know, and he like completely blindsided her. And I think they're close. Like Ben Shapiro, I think, and Megyn Kelly were friends. And then he just like completely, you could see in the video, she was kind of blindsided by it. And then he's just trying to like get her to say this specific.
Yeah, no, he said that Candace has been claiming Erica Kirk was behind the murder of Charly, which I had not heard. And I was taken aback because that seems like something I would have heard. It's so crazy. And I have since learned it is not true. Candace has not made that claim. And in fact, I've now seen several clips of Candace specifically defending Erica Kirk and saying she would never make a claim like that about Erica and that she, you know, she is open-minded to other people at Turning Point. So thank you for that question.
And I'll tell you right now, Megyn was not done. And I will say this, even if I remove myself from a situation, it is actually the most disrespectful thing that you can do to someone that you purport to be friends with or friendly with. I can't even imagine that. Like, hey, will you join me on stage? I really like you and I'm on tour and I'd love to have you on stage for a discussion. And then this person starts coming after me and questioning my moral compass. Really process that. That's just not cool beyond anything else.
And the same thing happened with Michael Knowles with Ben Shapiro again.
So if Candace Owens decides to slander the widow of Charly Kerk, I think that people have a moral duty to say that this is a bad thing, even if they are quote unquote friends with those people. And I find it an act.
But let's take that further. So obviously one should state one's view and say, you know, Erica's great and the attacks on her are not right.
Well, Michael, I'll just ask you straight up. Is Candace Owens doing something evil by attacking Erica Kerk?
I think that it's wrong to attack Erica Kerk. Say
the sentence. with her name in it.
I'm not going to dance like a puppet for the podcast.
You don't have to dance like a puppet, but you are dancing pretty quickly. I mean, there's a lot of tap dancing here.
I know. I don't think there's any tap dancing.
Even if you aren't interested in the podcast, where's the podcast?
And I think
the
people who are leading the invective against Candace are her biggest publicists, and I hope
leading the invective
well.
against Candace. I mean, this I take a little bit of umbrage at. I don't feel that it's invective to say that what she is doing to Erica Kirk is totally demonic.
No, that is invective. It could be justified invective, but it's certainly invective. My point is, when's the last time you used the term invective to talk about justified invective? Give me a break. No, of course. The three most famous speeches in Dante are the invectives, and they're totally justified. Invective can be a good thing. My point is just that what is the goal of that? Is the goal to make oneself feel really morally good, to puff oneself up to one's friends and fans, or is the goal to try to reduce, the popularity of some show? Because if it's the latter, it's not working. No.
He needs to hear that you are against these people specifically, and if you do not say that, then you're in the wrong. So girl, the right is messy, okay? Real messy. So on top of all those people that like Trump is like publicly denouncing, on that same side of people who are against like the whole pro-Israel and fighting their war side of the conservative spectrum, a lot of them are also no longer supporting Trump. So right now, you have a lot of conservatives who are against Trump. They are not in support of a lot of the things that he's doing. And I don't think people know that, because I've realized that whenever you say that you're a conservative, people just automatically like associate that with like a Trump supporter. But when, like I said, right now, the entire Republican Party is like split down in the middle between not for Trump, not here for what he's doing, versus strictly pro-Trump, strictly supporting it. You know what I mean? Like it's completely split down the middle.
I mean, you got Trump talking about Cuba's gonna fall, Colombia's president better, quote, watch his ass. We're ready and loaded to go into Iran. If protesters there get shot, because protests are happening in Iran as well. So we're going to be doing a shooting campaign in Iran. We're going into Colombia. We're potentially taking over Cuba. We're, quote, running and, quote, in charge of Venezuela now. And, somebody's making the point on Twitter, how's that going to go, Aaron, as we inch toward the midterms and people are still worried about the cost of eggs and bread and milk, but Venezuela's going swimmingly.
Trump was my biggest mistake, and now America is paying the price. I'll say what millions of Americans are starting to realize: supporting Donald Trump was one of the biggest mistakes we ever made. I'm sorry for misleading people. It was never intentional. I believed in what I was saying at the time. I believed I was fighting for something better. We believed the promises. We believed he would put America first. We believed he would protect our borders, fix our economy, and fight for working families. But what did we get? Higher costs, more division, more chaos. I campaigned for him, you and I, and millions of others who supported him were implicated in this. Instead of helping struggling Americans put food on the table, pay rent, or afford health care, Trump keeps dragging America deeper into foreign conflicts and foreign alliances, while our own people suffer here at home. We voted for America first, but it feels like America came last. Our tax dollars are being burned overseas, our voices are being ignored, our veterans are struggling, families are drowning in inflation. And Trump, he protects his power, he protects the wealthy and the political elite. I regret supporting Trump, I regret believing the promises.
So look, I have not exactly found the correct words to communicate how I feel about President Donald Trump. I sort of ignore the topic of his existence altogether because it kind of sickens me, as it should. It should. If you were 2015, 2016, running around in MAGA hat, catching all of the figurative bullets for supporting him, standing up to the never Trumpers who are now running his administration, this level of deceit and betrayal should sicken you, right? The human spirit isn't really meant to contend with that sort of deceit. You're not supposed to even fathom a scenario where someone like Charly Kerk quite literally dedicates his entire professional career, builds up an organization meant to help Trump, to empower Trump, conservative principles one way or the other. And in return, when Charly Kerk is assassinated in front of the world, Trump just dedicates a total of 3 tweets at most. And one of those tweets that he dedicates to Charly Kerk is an AI image of Charlie hugging an Israeli flag. Yeah, it's pretty gross.
And FYI, because anytime you say, which I understand the assumption, because if you're a conservative, naturally you're going to vote Republican. And if you're a Republican, you voted for Trump. Like I definitely 1,000% or understand the correlation. But what I also need people to realize is conservatism existed before Donald Trump. And Donald Trump himself, I don't even think is conservative at all. I don't want to go as far as say at all, but he ain't that conservative. But yeah, it's just a lot going on. But the bulk of what I want to talk about is the fact that, like, y'all, we all need to be a little bit worried that the poster boy for all things Republican and on the right, he was taken out because he was questioning Israel. We don't stand a chance if we want to even, hello, it's getting crazy out here. It's getting crazy. Okay, let's get into WTF. The Pilates psychosis that we're all in, it's getting a little weird. It's getting a little crazy. Y'all are just doing random shit and tying Pilates into it, like stuff that's completely unrelated to fitness and or Pilates. I saw a flyer for Pilates in the helicopter. It's like, I don't remember what the title was, but like, why am I doing Pilates in a helicopter? That's not even peaceful. How do you even hear how does that even, you know what I mean? I saw Porsche and Pilates, where you are doing Pilates in the Porsche room. It's like, okay, why? I saw another flyer. It was ponies and Pilates. Why are we doing that? Like, it's just like, at this point, y'all are just doing shit just to do shit. But the thing about Pilates is, obviously with any type of like exercise or anything physical that you're doing, to see progress and to really get an investment physically on like the time that you're putting into that fitness thing, whatever that is, Pilates, yoga, boxing, whatever it is, weights, you have to do that thing consistently, at least 6 weeks, to really see the body take effect from like what you're doing. Pilates ain't cheap. The average Pilates class is like $40 to $50. It's not cheap. So for someone to realistically get results from doing Pilates, you would have to go to class, let's say 4 days out the week. So just from 4 days out the week, you're expected to pay between $150 to $200 a week to go to Pilates. So $150 to $200 a week, a month, you're looking at you're looking at either $600 or to $800 on Pilates. That's insane. And I'm talking about to realistically like see results. You're going 4 days a week and you're doing this consistently. You would have to be dropping at least $600 a month to consistently do Pilates. And I feel like that's so unserious. Y'all ain't doing that. I think it's just for the aesthetic. It's just for the vibe. I'm not mad at it. Like, you're getting cute in the pink and the outfit and all this stuff. But like, y'all are doing a lot. Y'all are having Pilates parties. What is going on? Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Why? And as someone that's into fitness, I don't think I would have ever seen myself in a place where it's just like, I'm not really motivated to make fitness content anymore because everything is just fake. Everything is just fake. Like, there's people like getting their bodies done and then they're making fitness content. There are people just getting the skinny BBLs and they're getting their bodies done and they're becoming fitness influencers. And then you have the extreme just romanticizing of fitness from like the outfits, and you have to get the expensive outfits, the Lululemon, the Define, the Active, the Gymshark. You have to get the specific shoes. You got to go to this specific gym. You got to get this. Like, it's all a little bit too much and it's unfun. It just seems like everything's just so fake in the space. Like, it's very hard now to tell who you can really trust in the fitness space. You don't know who got their body done. You don't know who got lipo. You don't know who has the skinny BBL. It's just too much. It's too much. The Pilates, I'm calling it a Pilates psychosis. It is getting out of hand. Next, we're going to talk about spicy bowls. At first, the spicy bowl started off as exactly what it sounded like. You had a spicy bowl. You had jalapenos and they cut peppers and pickle juice. Go down the rabbit hole. Y'all know what a spicy bowl is. It started in the plastic containers, but then we had these spicy bowls in the boot. Then we had the spicy bowl in the mop bucket. Then we had the spicy bowl in the toilet. Then we had the spicy bowl on random shit. Black people, we do too good of a job at making ourselves a joke. This is embarrassing. It's not funny. It's not comedic. It's a trend, so naturally, because it's trending, it's gonna go viral. Why are you pouring an already really odd concoction of foods? Like, it's just weird and I don't understand it. Why are y'all doing that for like clickbait? It's so weird. The mukbang and the food space, it gets so weird so quick. Do y'all remember when they were just doing random shit with the mukbangs? They were eating the big old Chipotle bowls, and they were, oh my God, like, this is the gluttony that, like, we gotta do better. Not we, because I'm yet to try a spicy bowl. Like, I've yet to see a spicy bowl video where I'm just like, oh my God, I really want to try that. Y'all are doing a lot. It's so weird. And not to get too serious, but to get too serious because that's what I do. This is why Black people aren't taken seriously. Because of shit like this. And then we wonder why the perception of Black people is as skewed as it is for people outside of the community. Because we do weird and random and unnecessary shit like this. This is so weird. Nobody else is doing this. No one else is putting the food that they eat in a goddamn boot. Wrap it up. Like, it's embarrassing. It looks bad and I want us to stop. I'm not even gonna go too hard on the spicy bowls, you know what I mean? If you like it, cool. But can we just tone it down a lot? Or just cut it? It's just embarrassing. It's getting out of hand and it's not funny, it's not cute, it's not cool. Get rid of the spicy bowls. Get rid of the spicy bowls in general. That cannot even be good for your stomach. And the people are making this shit in their goddamn living rooms. People are making this in their kitchens. You don't know what's in these. You don't know what the kitchen looked like. You don't know the hygiene of the person. Y'all are buying spicy bowls on Facebook Marketplace. If you know that guy, you know that guy. But
trying more food off the Facebook Marketplace. So today we have this one lady called Red Lip Combo.
It does get to a point and it's just embarrassing because it's only Black people. No other race is eating these spicy bowls. Or if they are white or non-Black, they're the ones that think or act like they Black. I'm wrong. Okay, yeah. The spicy bowls, not feeling it. Cut it. Next. Next up, let's get into For the Girls. So on my segment for the Girls, my first thing that I think are currently for the girls right now, I feel like ballet flats and like weird looking shoes. Y'all, I got a few ballet flats. They're super cute. Got them off Amazon. Amazon is a hidden gem for flats. And Puma is on 10 with these ballet sneakers and flats, 10 out of 10. But I brought a pair of Vibrams. If you don't know what the Vibrams are, they're the 5-finger looking shoes. And at first I was just like, okay, am I tripping? Am I being easily influenced? Because these are the craziest shoes I've ever owned. When I tell y'all, I love those shoes. I love the weirdness of it. I love the awkwardness of it. And I'm a tall girl. I wear a size 9. They're so comfortable. It's like you're walking on clouds. It doesn't have to specifically be Vibram because I know TikTok Shop has like dupes and different types. You can definitely get one on there. I'm sure it's similar material, but try it. I just feel like it just gives summer. I feel like it gives spring. Try the awkward looking shoes and try the ballet flats and the ballet sneakers. That's for the girls. That's for the girls. That's for the girls. Next thing that's for the girls is investing in your looks as a woman. I feel like people try to make it seem like surface level and vain and blase, blah when you're a woman who prioritizes like maintaining herself, like always having your hair done, always having your nails done, making sure like you're staying on top of your skincare, making sure you're doing the things that you need to do to present yourself a certain way. But it's like, as a woman, it's kind of like the whole plot. Don't make people make you feel bad for knowing that your beauty has value in this world. We live in a very surface level world. Not saying that you're only your beauty, but it helps. It helps being put together. It helps having your hair done. It helps being presentable to the world. I feel like people react to you differently as a woman when you keep yourself together, and it is definitely an investment, okay? So whether that is the little things like learning how to do your own hair and perfecting your look, right? Always keeping your nails done. It doesn't have to be nothing crazy. It could literally be like short Frenchies. Making sure you are investing in your skincare. I have been struggling with my skin for the longest time. I have I'm easily bruised. Anytime like I have like pimples or something and I pop it, it always leaves a dark spot. And between hyperpigmentation for me and dark spots are like my biggest issues. So I decided after years of like just trying different products and just going through all the motions and nothing fixing it, I was like, okay, I'm going to go to the dermatologist and I'm going to invest in my skincare. And I'm only like 3 weeks in on the products that my dermatologist recommended, but I'm seeing the difference. And I 10 out of 10 recommend doing little things like that. Like, I'm not saying you always have to have a full face of makeup on. The best version of yourself as a woman is your natural self, doing things that enhance your natural beauty. So like I'm saying, like your skincare. So if you're not wearing makeup, you still are eating down, you're glowing, or you can put on a little skin tint and it just gives wow. You know what I mean? Finding and perfecting a hairstyle that makes your face pop. It accents your face shape. Finding a nail color and a nail shape that makes your hands look cute, that make you feel confident. Keeping up and staying in the gym and maintaining a balanced, little things. Women need to invest in their looks. And when I say invest in your looks, I don't necessarily mean the extreme stuff that we're seeing, and y'all know the extreme stuff I'm talking about. But just taking the extra step to do things that you know are gonna enhance your confidence. When you know you look good as a woman, oh, can't nobody tell you anything. Can't nobody tell you anything, okay? That is all that I have for today's episode. I hope you guys kind of like this different format. I feel like when I was doing like the single topics, I put a lot of pressure on myself to get it so perfect and make sure I had the perfect topic. And I used to have like scripts, and I would always, it was so much planning and preparation and doing all these things. Not to say I'm not planning and preparing now, but I wanted to be more natural. I wanted to be a conversation. I wanted to be like friends talking and just catching up, you know, what's been going on the past week. So let me know how you guys like the whole formatting of it all, the different sections. Let me know what y'all thought about what I was saying. I feel like I said a lot of crazy stuff, a lot of controversial stuff. I shouldn't be controversial, but let me know what you think. If you stuck around for the entire video and you did like the video and you enjoyed it, make sure to give it a thumbs up so I know you're enjoying it, and make sure you stay a little longer and you subscribe, and I will see you next week. Bye.